I was right. I should learn to trust my maths more. I've got an MBA now. Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. My name is Yolandi if you are joining us for the first time, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I have not been on your screens for a very long time, okay? So I'm super excited to be back. I also hope that you guys are as excited to see me, and the reason why I have not been on your screens is because I have been fighting for my life to complete this MBA. So today's video is going to be all about my MBA, literally the beginning, the middle, the end, the rush, the ups, the downs, and then I'm also going to share with you guys some lessons that I'm taking away from my MBA, as well as advice to those who would like to do an MBA one day, because I do know there's absolutely some of you who like Yolandi, share all the tea, because I'm actually considering doing an MBA or just a master's in general. So without any further ado, I am a little bit nervous about this video, but I know it's going to go so well, and I can't wait to share all this information with you guys, because I really feel like I wish there was this type of video available when I started my MBA. So let's get into it. The career background, let's start with that, because I do know there is quite a lot of new faces here, people who probably came from TikTok to come watch this video. So I would like to give a career background just from a studies perspective. So I did my undergraduate in economics and international trade, and then I did my honors in economics at the Northwest University, and that's where it all started. After that, 2017, I started working, and I started working as a consultant. So I am an ex-consultant, okay, management consultant. I worked at one of the big 4 consulting firms. Some people would call it an audit firm, but I worked at one of the big consulting firms, and that's where my career kicked off. I focused on strategy in that specific role for about 2.5 years, and then I moved to a smaller consulting house because I just felt like I was a number in that big consulting house. When I got to the smaller consulting house, when I tell you guys, that is where I learned majority of my skills. There I focused on project management, economic development, as well as strategy, and I dabbled a little bit into the digital space, because that's when the buzzword digital started becoming alive. After about 2 years in that role, I then joined another consulting firm, and that was the last consulting firm that I was actually in. There I spent a year up until I was retrenched. Now it's very important that I mention to you guys that I got retrenched, because this information is going to be key later on in the video. There I specifically focused on people advisory. Now where did I know that I actually wanted to do an MBA? A lot of you would ask. I knew when I left university in 2016 that my next degree is going to be an MBA. I knew already, like, executive level is where I wanted to be in corporate, and I said in order for me to set myself up for success, in order to be a successful executive in the next 10 years, I need to do my MBA. If you don't know what an MBA is, it's a master's in business administration. It's a very good degree to have if you are looking at running a business, being an executive. It's a very good degree to have, and for me, I knew that would set myself up for success. So let's go back to the retrenchment. Okay, when the retrenchment happened, it was 2022 in October, so it was towards the end of the year. Now imagine you are literally there thinking about December is going to be a good time, and then they say, actually no, we need to let you go, and we need to let you all in the organization go. And the biggest thing that happened is I worked for a small consulting house at the time, and unfortunately with small consulting houses, sometimes there's an anchor client. What I mean by that is there's one client that we all literally work for. When I say small boutique consulting house, this is probably less than 15 in the organization, and we were let go of. And that is, for me, one of the biggest risks that I would highlight to someone who would like to go into the consulting space, is that working for a big organization is beneficial because you know you are secured, but then working for a small organization, there's a big risk in terms of if you guys only have one client, you know, if that client says, hey, we're going through a restructure and unfortunately we can't keep you guys, then it's chai. Literally, it is chai. But then the benefit of working for a small organization organization is the fact that you get to learn so much because you are quite literally involved in everything compared to a big organization where you might just get a little piece of the pie that you are working with because the team is initially bigger. But that is a lesson for another day. I got retrenched and then it was sad. I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't worried at all because personally, I just knew that, you know what, I am going to put my best foot forward and I'm actually going to apply and just go wild when it comes to applications. And one thing about me, child, I'm going to reach out to my old contacts and ask them for help. How I approached that situation is that I actually worked with a recruiter, and that's how I got then my job at the bank. And that is literally where I'm at right now. I am working for a bank, if you did not know. But with that whole retrenchment process, an important thing to note to you guys is the fact that we did take the organization to CCMA, and there was a case that we had lodged because the entire Section 189 process was not followed, and the outcomes from that was that we got a really good package out of that. Each individual literally got a really good package, and all I did is I took that money and I saved it. I think I only used maybe like 1 month's worth of salary from that money because I obviously still had to live in November and December before I started my new role in January. So I took a portion of that money, and then the rest of the money, which was quite a big chunk, I put that into my savings because I always knew that I wanted to do an MBA, like I said, since 2016. So obviously the funds for it had to come from somewhere, and I was smart enough to make sure that I put that money away and it accumulated interest, and that's how I partially funded my MBA. It did not have enough money to obviously fund my entire MBA, but I think it's just important to note that that is initially how I funded my MBA. So that is my career background. If you are interested in checking out how I lived as a consultant and how I went about my week, I traveled quite a lot in my last role, then you guys can definitely check out some of my old videos. I did vlog quite a lot of it, so definitely check it out. Okay, on to the next. Let's go to topic number 2, why I chose to do an MBA. Now a lot of you would probably ask, Yolandi, why did you choose to do an MBA? Where did that motivation come from? So a little backstory. I wanted to do my MBA in 2023, but as you heard, now I got retrenched in 2022, and then I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do an MBA when I am quite literally starting a new role as well? And that was a bit too tricky for me. I can't navigate a new role completely out of consulting within the banking space. It's new territory for me, as well as an MBA. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to pause my MBA for this year. I'll maybe start doing it in 2024. You need to sometimes be very realistic with the decisions you make when it comes to career, school, balancing that, because I am glad I made that decision. Also, the school then came back to me only in Feb to say that I got accepted, and I was like, nah, you know what? I made a decision in January that I'm not going to do this MBA now, so let's pause it. Mentally, I was just not ready to do my MBA in 2023 because I already thought maybe they rejected me, and when they got back to me in Feb, I was like, nah, that is way too late. I can't prepare myself mentally only a month to say, okay, cool, like you are doing your MBA for this year. So very good decision. I decided to only soak myself into my new role in 2023, and then in 2024, that is when I started doing my MBA. So I always had a goal of being an executive in a corporate organization, and when I left varsity in 2016, I knew that, you know, my next degree is going to be my MBA. So it was more from a career advancement perspective. I also heard that if you want to be a very successful entrepreneur, a good degree to do is an MBA. And if you go and have a look at the most sought after degrees in the world, an MBA is actually one of them. And if you have a look at some of the top executives anyway in the world, not even South Africa, majority of them actually do have either an executive leadership degree or they've got an MBA. So I felt like this MBA would set me up for success, and it absolutely will in the future. And it's already setting me up for success now. So that is the main reason why I decided to do an MBA. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the beginning of my MBA. MBA, because I would like to break this up to you guys, and this is kind of how I see the journey going. I see the beginning of my MBA, I see the middle of my MBA, and then I see the end of my MBA. So I want to walk you guys through that entire journey so that you know the feelings and the emotions that I felt through each of these phases. The beginning. Wow, let me tell you, I was so excited to go back to school, and I was just like, I can't believe that I'm doing my MBA. You know, Yolandi is going to kill it. Like, I haven't been at school for such a long time, and that is where a little bit of the imposter syndrome came in as well. I was like, I haven't been at school in such a long time. I mean, since 2016, that is quite long, 8 years. But I was very excited. I remember going to orientation day, and I was just looking around, and I'm like, ooh, I'm one of the youngest in the room. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, because that's a flex. That is a flex, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of my classmates were like in the late 30s, 40s, or 50s. We were very few that were like early 30s, and way less that were still in the late 20s. I think only like 2 or 3 of them was still like in the late 20s, and then we were just really a couple in our early 30s. Majority was 35 and up. And maybe just a little background on the setup of my MBA. I decided personally to do the in-person MBA course. There is an online one, but I wanted to walk away with a network as well. So all these individuals that I spoke about right now are fairly senior in the positions that they are in, and you know what, I am walking away with a very big network as well, and those are my people. You really become like a close team because you guys are quite literally in the thick of it together. So that is the setup. In-person classes every Saturday. I had a lot of assessments that had to get done. I wrote exams, and then in my last year I had my research. So it is a very good program that encapsulates pretty much everything when it comes to a school perspective. Now that was the beginning, and I would say the beginning of my course was from the year 2024, like in Feb up until March. And then the middle. Wait, it gets worse at the end, but let's pause on the middle first. The middle was the most challenging part to adjust into. I think in the beginning it was still fueled with excitement, but then in the middle it was like, yeah, no. Now we are in the thick of it, okay? When I tell you from June 2024, I was doing assignments every single day in my house, sleeping late, waking up early, juggling work, juggling school, juggling content, juggling my side hustle, juggling relationships. Everything happened in the middle. And when I tell you, that is when I got the biggest realization that, my babes, your life needs to change. Because in the beginning I was still out and about and seeing my friends and hanging out, and the weekends we would go for dinners and this and that, and the middle came and the assignment said, my sister, you need to change your life. Exam said, my sister, who do you think you are? Your life is going to change. And that's when I realized that, whoa, this MBA is not here to play with me. Okay, that's when it got real, from June 2024. Now personally, I'm not a winter person. I feel like I suffer a little bit from seasonal depression. I won't call it seasonal depression, to be honest. It's just that I don't really like being around people in winter because it's already cold. Now I need to start engaging with people as well. Like, nah, I'd rather sit at home, I'd rather be in my cocoon, not really engage that much. So it was a good time for me at that time, but it was also the time where I needed people the most, because you are going through this entire life transitioning period. You are new to this degree, and now all of a sudden you naturally want to isolate, but now it's like you are not isolating by choice. You are being isolated by school. And when it was by choice, at least I could have spoken to people or hung out with people when I wanted to. But now it's not by choice. You are being forced to be in the house, and that is a different type of isolation, okay? That is when I really realized that, okay, I need to make a lot of changes because I'm actually doing a master's. And that's when a lot of changes happened, guys. It's in this time where I lost a lot of friendships as well, because I just realized that, you know, I am in a season where I need to sometimes be alone. I'm in a season where I need to focus. I'm in a season of growth. And I just did not find alignment with so many of my friends. I think we normalize romantic breakups in life, but we don't normalize friendship breakups. And if you think about it, you are quite literally who you surround yourself with. And if the people who you surround yourself with every single day are not motivating you, they don't have similar mindsets as you, then at some point you guys are going to frustrate each other. And that's exactly what happened. I had less time on my hands. I couldn't hang out and party and go out the way I used to. I realized that I'm growing. There's so much more that I'm thriving for. And some of those friendships were just there for vibes. We change as people, and that is okay. Society makes us feel so bad about friendship breakups and, yeah, who's the problem? Who was the problem? You guys should fix it. But at the end of the day, it's just a relationship between two people. Yes, it is platonic, it's not romantic, but two different people trying to build a relationship, there's always going to be conflict, and some of them just cannot be resolved. And that's when I had like a wake-up call about how much my life should change and how much my life actually will change. It's not a decision that I made myself, but I believe it's a decision that like my degree kind of forced me to. So I changed a lot in that season and really lost a lot of friendships, and it was just a season of feeling quite lonely as well, because now you're so used to being outside, being with your friends, and now everything is literally just changing. And it's quite literally you waking up in the morning and you are in your books. My mom and my dad were literally my key sources of calls and communication. They used to check in on me a lot, and then my brothers would check on me every now and then. And then I had really good friends, obviously, still in that season, friends who actually grew with me, friends who actually saw, you know, that I actually need to stick with this girl because we are heading towards the same direction. So I had still really good friends in that season, and I'm so grateful for them. Literally random, after a month and a half or 2 months of not seeing each other and then going for lunch, or the random calls that I would get to say, hey, I cooked, if you have some free time, come through for a meal. Like, I genuinely appreciate those friendships. The video calls, hey Yolandi, how you doing? Do you have 5 minutes tonight? Let's quickly catch up. Those are the type of friendships that I definitely also made sure to, you know, kind of invest more in, because that time and that season, that is what I needed. But yeah, like I said, guys, loneliness will hit you, because then you realize that, wow, things are actually changing. The middle was probably the most chaotic piece of my MBA, because now it was obviously that big adjustment taking place where you're now doing assignments, it's deadlines at work, it's deadlines in content, it's deadlines in business, and now deadlines in school as well. So it was quite a lot at once, but I think one of my biggest learning from that season was the fact that I started relying on more people, because I'm a girly. I don't really like asking for help, and this degree has forced me to ask for help. So that is one of the biggest lessons that I actually take away from this as well. I am now comfortable to actually ask for help, which is a very, very good thing. And then the biggest breakthrough in that season in the middle was the fact that I actually decided to quit alcohol, guys. I decided to quit alcohol at the end of September 2024. And it has honestly been one of the best decisions of my entire life. If someone has to ask me how did I find quitting alcohol, I can never lie and say that it was difficult. It was the most easiest decision ever, and that's how I know that this was actually more than just the flesh deciding that I don't want to drink anymore. It was actually a spiritual decision, and I'm grateful to God for helping me with that very difficult decision that I think people would see it as take. So I'm grateful to God for that help as well. I just did not see myself aligned to that life anymore. I didn't see the benefit to my body, to me, in consuming alcohol, and that's one of the main reasons why I stopped. I also found that my decision making was pretty poor when I was intoxicated. I also knew that that was the enemy's way into my life, because I'm very stern when I'm sober, and I know I stick to the decisions that I make. I'm also very focused, and I just felt like every single time I consumed alcohol, my decision making was poor, and I was just not doing and living the way I want to when I am intoxicated, and I decided to call it quits. I'm so grateful, really for the help that God came through with, because I know a lot of people won't find this easy. I am currently on 1 year, 2 months and 15 days of being alcohol free, and like I said, this is the best decision that I've ever made in my entire life. My body looks so good, because guys, let me tell you one thing, okay? Alcohol will make you gain weight. But yeah, that was the middle, obviously filled with a lot of deadlines, a lot of learnings, a lot of highlights, and some breakthroughs as well. Let's chat a little bit about the end. The end was very challenging. You guys know there's a saying that goes that it gets tougher and tougher as you reach the end. That is exactly what happened, because mentally you're just like, oh my goodness, I've got 6 months left, I'm so over this, I just want to finish. And then you've got this massive dissertation that's still waiting for you. So my dissertation initially started in March of 2025, literally this year. I can't believe it, oh my goodness. But it started in March 2025, and it started off very lightly. Then I was pretty much into this MBA thing, right? A lot of change has happened. I'm now very disciplined. I've got really good routines going on. So I wasn't really too phased about the fact that, oh my gosh, this, big dissertation is coming up. But anyways, it did come. And I mean, the last time I wrote that intense and did research to that manner was in 2016 when I did my honors. So now you are thinking about, okay, cool, how do we do this again? Luckily, we had like classes every Tuesday night where they basically took us through each and every phase of our research, each and every chapter of our research, and that helped. However, I must say there was a lot of administration related matters that added to our anxiety. I think we really only started writing, if I'm not mistaken, in March of 2025. Yeah, and it progressed as time actually went on. This was very challenging for me because I am not a big research girly. I do not like it. It's not my favorite, okay? Please don't hold me to it, guys. I just do not like conducting research. I'm someone that would much rather speak to people, talk in front of people, interview people, talk to stakeholders. I'm not someone that wants to sit for hours and hours and hours and read a black and white paper that was written in 2019. That is just, it's just not something that I enjoy. Okay, let's make peace with that fact. In the beginning, it was a lot of sitting down, reading, research, and just figuring out how to do this again. Luckily, I had a very good supervisor. And guys, when I tell you, as a child of God, I pray about everything. I prayed about this supervisor, okay? I said to God, God, make sure that when you hand me a supervisor, you hand me someone that is patient, someone that will help me, someone that is passionate about what he does. And I was deliberate, and I'm going to say this looking at you dead in the camera, I was deliberate in getting a male and not a female. Once again, please don't arrest me. And this is a revelation that God has given me throughout this year as well, that I actually want to start a really good training program for female leaders, because I feel like a lot of female leaders lack emotional intelligence. And I know a lot of people will be like, why are you going against females? You are a female. You are basically, hyping up what the world says. Look, there's very good female leaders, and I've worked with very good female leaders, but majority of them were either intimidated and treated me like trash. So personally, I decided I wanted a male, okay? And that worked. And I feel I do work better with males, and I wanted to work with a male, and I don't feel ashamed about it. Okay, don't judge me. It's just personal preference. Okay, let me back up. So I decided to go with a male supervisor. And guys, when I tell you, I've been talking to my classmates, and the ones with female supervisors, yeah, those people are seeing flames. I don't know. I know we are emotional beings, and thank God for creating us that way, because he created us in quite literally his perfect image. But sometimes, we take it a little bit too far, because I feel like our emotions can get into some of the work that we do, So I definitely believe that there's a lot of work that still needs to get done from a female leadership perspective. Please put as much females in leadership positions, because we deserve it. We work hard for it, okay? But make sure that from a female and a male perspective, emotional intelligence training is conducted. And if you are a female leader out there, do better if you are not doing better, okay? Great. Let's close that conversation. My supervisor was a solid 10 out of 10. Guys, when I tell you that he just knew how to keep me calm. I needed a lot of assurance during that process, because I was like, am I doing the right thing? I haven't done this in years. And yeah, thank you so much, doctor. Absolutely so grateful for you. He was really one of the really good supervisors, and I don't think I would have made it through this research paper without him. I'm just going to put it out there, to be honest. Really, really good at what he does, and really passionate about what he does. Long story short is that the research process did go very well. It's just that we had some administration related challenges. Our ethical clearance took very long to come, but the important thing that I did was make sure that I actually did the work while waiting for my ethical clearance. So if you don't know what ethical clearance is, before you can actually talk to participants in your research, you're supposed to get ethical clearance so that they can see what questions you're going to ask them, so that you don't put your participants at risk. So it's a whole process where you have to do a whole entire application, and once the application is done, you submit it to the ethical clearance committee, and then once it gets to the ethical clearance committee, they review it, and then they'll let you know whether it's a-okay, what changes you need to make, and so we did that submission. I think it was in May, June, July, August, I think I got my ethical clearance approval, and I was one of the first that got that approval, okay? I got my approval, and guys, when I tell you I did the work in those 3 months, I was like, I'm already going to reach out to participants. So I went on LinkedIn. That was my first stop, and all I searched for was founders, business owners, SME CEOs, CEO, and that's how I managed to get my participants. I sent them a very long message to let them know that I'm interested in interviewing them, because I did qualitative research. I'm not a quantitative babe. I'm not a numbers girly, okay? Very good at like accounting, but I'm not good at maths. So yeah, I don't know, that needs to be studied. I'm a commerce girly. I did say I'm a commerce girly, okay? But I did a qualitative study. So qualitative basically is more words related. You conduct interviews, you conduct focus groups, whereas quantitative study is more, you send out a survey and then you ask for specific things. You've got scales to rate it, so it's more numbers related. So the data analysis for these two are completely different. When you do data analysis for qualitative related studies, it's going to be more trying to get key themes that came out of, you know, your interviews, whereas with the numbers, you try to obviously make your conclusion and draw your conclusions from, you know, the replies that people gave and, you know, what your quantitative numbers basically say. But 2 weeks before that, I sent out a Calendly link and I asked my participants to select a slot that suits them best. So I conducted 15 interviews that Monday and that Tuesday, and then the Wednesday I was back at work. I was exhausted. When I tell you, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I conducted interviews every single hour. literally for that Monday and Tuesday. But that really helped me, because once I was done with that, I could start with my data analysis. I'm not going to go too much into it, maybe just a little bit of a cost when it comes to my entire MBA. My entire MBA, I would say, cost me about 300k. Let me say that again, 300k. I hope you guys heard me. I hope you guys heard me. Do you understand why, if someone has an MBA, they demand so much money? Because our degree is costing us 300,000 rand. That is a car. That is the amount of a car. Okay, let me back down. So the school fees cost about 250,000 rand. The 50k, I'm talking about petrol every single Saturday to school, a little additional cost here, a little additional cost there. With my research, we also had to get a language practitioner. I didn't do the international trip, so I did the local trip, so that costed me an additional maybe say 20k, 15 to 20k. So all in all, I think it came up to about 300k. And maybe let me talk a little bit about my topic. So a very interesting topic that I chose. I did not know at first what I wanted to write about. I knew it's either going to be in the personal development space or it's going to be in the SME space. And then I was like, yeah, but I am doing an MBA in digital transformation, so there needs to be a digital element to it. And I was like, okay, cool, you know what, personal development, I feel like I really have like a good knowing of that space already, because if you don't know, I've got a side hustle in the personal development space. But SME, I feel like I really want to do more, because, you know, future projections, future vision that I have. So I decided to do my study on leveraging cost-effective digital payment tools for small business growth in Gauteng. And basically it is, how can small businesses use the digital payment tools to actually, you know, advance them to grow. And then I looked a lot at like challenges, barriers, you know, policy recommendations for the future, recommendation for banks, for financiers, everyone in the financial services space really, and then also recommendations to SMEs, because the one thing that you do realize when you conduct this type of research is that a lot of people are still not digital literate enough to be adopting these tools, but these tools have so much benefits. Hey, let me not go into that, because I can talk about that for the entire day. And to be honest with you, if people ask me what is the most difficult thing that you did in your entire MBA, I would say my research. Listen, that dissertation almost broke me, but it built me into such a strong character. And I am not gonna lie when I tell you that I am so glad I learned how to ask for help in 2024, because I asked my supervisor for a lot of help and a lot of direction. And when I tell you, like, I would be texting my supervisor at like 8 p.m. at night on some, hey, I'm currently busy with this and I don't know how to approach it, please feedback, and he'll be like, voice note immediately. So that I'm entirely grateful for, because there were people that really struggled to even get hold of their supervisors. You know, it was a struggle. But like I said, towards the end, it was very difficult. And throughout this MBA as well, like, there was a lot of family events that I just could not attend because I was just busy. And in this time of closing and wrapping up my research, because I had to wrap it up at the end of October and submit everything, I missed my friend's wedding. My friend's wedding was in Congo, and I was supposed to be a bridesmaid, but I could not go because it was gobsmack in the middle of October, and I was still fighting for my life. When I tell you I fought for my life with this research, please believe me that I fought for my life. I probably slept like 5 hours every night, and if you know me, I love a good 7 hours. I'm not someone that likes to play with my sleep, okay? But yeah, that was the end. Very rough, very rocky, and I made it through. I still can't believe till this day that I made it through. I'm not gonna lie to you, it has not fully sunk in that I have completed all my requirements for my MBA. Maybe when I get the letter to say, hey, congratulations, you know, we have marked everything, and yeah, you have an MBA. That's probably when it will sink in. But for now, it's just more like a relief. I am finally done with this degree. That's what it feels like. And now I've been busy. I've been everywhere. And now I want to talk about the lessons that I'm actually taking with me from this MBA, because obviously there are a few. Number one is that time is currency. Guys, when I tell you that time is very important, time management is exceptionally important in your MBA, please believe me. And even now, every single time I think about doing something, I always think about, okay, is this worth my time? So time is currency. Number two is rest is productive. When I tell you the importance of rest and taking a pause, because I just went in the very beginning of my MBA and it did not work out for me, okay? When I decided to actively start resting, that's when I regained my energy to go again. So on the days where I felt like, okay, cool, like today I really don't feel like doing anything and I just feel like mentally I'm clogged, I did take some time off. Number three is that friendships shift, and that is okay. Like I said, I lost a lot of friends in this period and I had to make peace with it, as much as it was super hard and very lonely. But we need to give grace to ourselves because we all evolve, and it's okay for friendships to end the same way romantic relationships end. Number four is to say no often, and I mean be comfortable with setting boundaries, whether it's at work, whether it is amongst your cohort, whether it is in the group projects, because they are there as well, and we'll talk about group projects some other time, okay, when I go into a little bit more detail about all my challenges. But it is okay to say no, because you need to protect your peace and you need to protect your boundaries as well. So say no often, kindly, and with jest. Yeah. And number five, you are allowed to grow and change. And the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes we try to hold on to our past, because that's something that I did in 2024. I just could not make peace with the fact that I need to let go of my old self, and then I'm in this new process of growth, in this new process of really, evolving. And it's okay to grow. It's okay to grieve that aspect of your life as well, because it is something that you will need to do. Because let me tell you, an MBA will stretch you. And then obviously, advice to someone who would like to do an MBA one day, the biggest thing, number one, is don't overcommit. I am so glad I did not overcommit in 2023 with my new role and with my MBA. I decided to first ease into my new role, and then I started my MBA in 2024. So don't overcommit. If you can't do it that year, don't do it, because an MBA really does require your whole self. Number two, if you are in the thick of it, start assignments early. That is probably one of the best decisions that I made, was to start my assignments at least 3 weeks early. And guys, I mean, even if I just worked on one little piece every single night, it helped me stick to my deadlines. I have never ever missed a deadline in this entire process, and I think it was my first quarter where I submitted an assignment like literally a minute before it closed, and I said to myself, never in my life again, and that never happened again. So make sure that you start planning your assignments and start your assignments pretty early. Number three is that your worth is not defined and found in grades. We all experience academics differently, and if you are a 60 student, a 50 student, then that is okay. I'm not going to say that you should put too much pressure on yourself to be like an A student. Not all of us are A students, okay? I am an A student though. Yeah, like I had to strip that away from me, because I found a lot of my worth in my grades, in my career, and God also just stripped me from that. And God said, baby girl, your worth is in me, and that is the anchor. So don't ever put your worth in grades. Number four, you will cry, but you will also thrive. Did you get that? You will cry, but you will also thrive. And let me tell you something about crying, guys. I learned how to cry the past 2 years, okay? I've been someone who would like suppress my emotions, and I'll be like, no, you're supposed to be a strong girlie, don't cry, da 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 da. But this MBA forced me to cry, okay? Sometimes I would come home after a long day at work, and I would be so behind with my assignments or preparation for exams, and I would just sit and cry on my couch before I even go back to my desk. But then, child, When I tell you, when I come back after that cry, oh baby, it's game over for my books. It is game over for my books. It's almost like that release provided clarity to my brain. And listen, I was just clear. And when I go to that desk, baby, that was when I executed the most brilliant assignments, the most smartest answers. Boy, nah, it is okay to cry, okay? Thank you. And then number 5 is to record your journey. I did not record my journey as much as I ideally wanted to, but I did record my journey here and there, and I'm glad I did that, because when I look back at that footage right now, it's just like, wow, girl, like you were in the thick of it then, but look at you now, like you are thriving. And I can't wait to look at that footage when I am like 5 years from now, and I'm just like, wow, that time you were so scared to do XYZ, but look at you now, you've executed it. Or wow, the things you did then is now kind of assisting you to be a successful executive, a successful entrepreneur, a successful coach, whatever it is where I find myself, you know, that setup and the decisions that I made then has enabled me to then be, you know, where I'm going to be in the next 5 years. So record yourself, it's fun, and you guys will obviously see a little bit of the vibes that I went through towards the end of this video. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my MBA journey, and this is literally a testimony. Thank you so much, guys, for being so patient with me. I am super proud of myself, and I don't think I've really said it like that loud, but like I am so proud of myself for completing all my requirements, and I'm so excited to just come back to you guys and let you guys know that, hey, graduation is coming up, let's have a virtual celebration or whatever. But thank you so much, just, you know, for sticking with me in the past 2 years. I know I haven't been as consistent as I ideally wanted to be, because obviously it just took so much out of me and I could not show up as my full self. And I just appreciate you guys for still being here and still just being so patient with me and my return. Next year, I'm definitely looking at providing more videos to you guys. It might just be 2 videos a month or 1 video a month, but I am going to record a little bit more next year, because there's a lot that I would like to share with you guys next year as well. This is definitely not the end. I would like you guys to also let me know what you guys would like to hear about, okay? Whether it is study routines, whether it is more a little bit about like how I funded it, how I structure my assignments, whatever it is that you guys want to know, I can record those videos as well. So let me know in the comment section what you guys would actually like to know, and then I can start creating like a list of videos that I'm going to create as well. If you don't follow me on TikTok and Instagram, definitely do so, because on TikTok, that is where I probably share the most content, and then on Instagram is where I share like my daily life. So if you maybe from TikTok to my YouTube but you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely follow me there as well, because I do feel like I post more about my daily life on Instagram compared to a TikTok. And if you are new here and you're not subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe, like this video, because if you like this video, a lot of other people will be able to see this video and find it helpful as well. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, always remember that if I can do it, so can you. YouTube. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much. Anyways, goodbye.